Video. Jon and I got stuck, as you probably know by now, in Las Vegas, and decided to go out and play and have a good time. And more importantly, we'll just sit here and do a little bit of video with the toys we had in our rooms.
Sure.
So some of the toys.
If you haven't seen already, we did a couple of video. I mean, we got a video on the Voyager, the new Voyager from Walkera, as well as the Power Eye. That should be pretty awesome, but here we're going to just take a little bit closer look at an M210. So the M210 is fairly new. Some of the industrial idea here, or the search and rescue, or kind of rolling it into a more commercial slash enterprise platform, is that you have a various amount of different cameras we can use. The batteries are twin battery setups. We can set up with twin cameras up in the front or a single camera up on the top. A couple of neat things that that they've come out and designed with this to kind of fit it into that. I want to do a bridge inspection, or I want to do stuff like that. So let's take a look at what's in the box. I'm utilizing a GPC case that they specially designed just for this ship, like a lot of their stuff, but there was a lot of thought brought into this on actually pulling this out of the box and getting all the components and everything that fits. So kind of roll you through a little bit of what comes out. So the box itself is kind of in a two-layer setup. The landing gear can be pulled straight out and put onto the table here, but we got a section here which holds our batteries and chargers. We'll put that on the side.
And it got nice little carry handles.
Yeah, nice little carry handle, as well as just kind of getting them out of there. So pull out our next landing gear piece, and again, more batteries for TB55s or the TB50s. Those are two different size batteries and require different slots to fit into the case. When we get into the bird, once that comes right out, pretty simple and easy there. And I will have you help me just get, again, landing gear on real quick. So we just kind of open that, and on there we can do an insert. It's kind of, yeah, it's a little tight, but get her up in there.
Trying to do that with one hand doesn't work that well. There's
and then once you feel the locking spot, you can see a little notch that's actually cut out in the top there.
There's like a little hole, and
that's
that
a little
pin
hole
goes
that
into
holds
that.
it. Yep.
And I like that. It holds it very well.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
I grab that.
Yeah. This side, on this side, just to kind of explain what this is, whenever we do the actual top mount bracket here on an M210, this big chunk of metal actually ends up covering the internal GPS. So the external GPS is actually put out here to still have GPS function working, but we have to actually change that out when we pull this out of the kit so that it's available to be connected in the back. And there's a little spot in the back that we open this little panel right here, and then it drops in right there against the
You got to get
connector.
that in the right pins.
Yeah. So one of the just one of the things I didn't like about this kind of setup is that this may or may not kind of mess with that waterproof kind of thing. So that's very possible. The door kind of stays open.
And then an assistant that doesn't know what pins it goes on would very easily F that up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we'll kind of work with that a little bit more and see how that kind of comes about, and how we can improve that, or maybe the design can be improved later by DJI. But just some of the, like I said, some of the things that I catch as being operational might be a little bit difficult for some people. So the arms do as well fold. It's just a quarter turn push in if you ever did that. So the stock case allows you to kind of do this, but same thing, snaps into a spot, and then instead of a full-on threaded thing, it's just kind of a quick quarter turn. So that's it.
I'm just checking because the last one we had twisters on, you didn't actually twist them.
Well, see, because I'm used to this.
You're used to the twisters being twisted.
Just there you go. Yeah. So on this one, when they come out of the box, the 210 actually only has a single mount up on the front end. We do have to change these before you receive them, or if you're going to end up getting them, we do have to change this. There's a very, very small, I don't know, there could be 100 wires in this little bundle that has hair small wires, and that actually has to be disconnected, then reconnected. So as a tech, and you know, doing this for a while, we want to be careful because that can be can be ripped apart quite easily. So it's not really like pull it out and here we go.
Right. So what do we do with the props here?
I'm sorry?
What do we do with props?
Well, the props themselves, they sit in the back of the box here, and these are color coded to a point. So there's 2 black ones right there. So 1 black one for you, 1 black one for me. And then we have this gray ring on the other one.
So stick one on here somewhere.
Grab this other gray one. There's a gray one for you. And so up here on the top of the thing, you see these little gray hash marks, and then we take a look at this one and it doesn't have any. So if we take a look at that, and they are a simple line it up, quarter turn, line it up, and a simple little turn, and that's it. Same thing when you do anything when you're putting props on, is to double check and make sure that those are locked where they need to go. Give them a good little tug. And
aircrafts really don't fly well if the props come off.
Yeah, especially a quad, they don't do very well.
Yeah, there's not enough props left.
Yeah.
How do we control this?
This has actually come out with the Sendence radio. So this
you've got the
new,
nice radio?
Yeah, so this is the new Sendence radio.
Now, somebody's going to notice, of course, that for years DJI have had fancy white plasticky radios, and they got more and more professional. And guess what? All of a sudden, they went and made themselves what looks a lot like a Futaba 17 or something.
Yeah, let's take a close look.
A professional radio.
They basically set up one that can be semi-customized. So here's like the traditional form factor in a radio. You know, this is your traditional size, your how it would be. But with all the customizable buttons and things like that, it's not quite a full-fledged RC radio to where I can program it like a Futaba or a Spectrum or something, but at least it has options, and that will, again, depend on the availability of what they give you the options to do.
Right.
But if you wanted to move a button or change a button or anything like that, that's very possible.
You can kind of personalize it.
You can. The thing about it, this is a twin battery system. So again, we have TB50s. These batteries will work with the Inspire 2, but there is a specialized M200 battery that actually has kind of a waterproofing IP43 rated specific battery.
So if you're out in the rain, that's the one to use.
Yeah, that's the ones to use.
Would that work on the Inspire?
These ones will work on the Inspire, so this is, of course, more testing that Jon needs to do, but for the most part, these are Inspire 2 batteries. These are Inspire 2 batteries, and I've already flown them inside this. I haven't done the vice versa yet.
Okay.
And then just a quick one more comparison of the battery. This is the larger TB50-55 versus the TB50.
Oh.
So it is a lot larger form factor.
Now I haven't seen that before.
Capacitance
will
is
that
a little
fly
bit bigger.
on the Inspire, I take it?
It will not.
Oh.
Why will it not fly on the Inspire? Because it's the big thing about it is that it's too wide. When it sticks out, the props come too close. So just not enough clearance right there. So
I figure about 5 minutes and they will have made some clearance.
Oh, well, I'm sure someone's going to end up shaving the tip of a prop off to try to figure out how to get these on there. Another reason for the TB55s is that in the case here, again, GPC, awesome that they were able to actually make space for this, but inside we have a XT, we have a Z30.
So what goes on what side? This one?
Doesn't matter which one side you put it on. And then also inside we have the X5S. Okay, so this the way it is right now is that this is actually an extension. So the port that's up on this one is just an extension up to the top mount. So it isn't, you can't run 3 cameras. You can still only run 2 cameras, but this is just an extension.
I was wondering about that. So that extends it up to there.
Yeah.
And if we untwist this,
you could put it up on the top
and hold it onto itself.
Yep.
So we don't have to, we still have to protect those cables.
You just run the wires and click it to itself, but you still, if you leave that there, you'll still have to leave this on the ship. Otherwise, there's 4 screws. You can undo it and take it apart, and there you go.
There.
Yep.
You feeling good about that?
I think it's fine. But yeah, we can put a thermal camera up on the front. Doesn't really matter what side it's on. You can put an RGB camera, so a standard X5 and the X5S. You can actually change the lens on those and make them zoomable if you want to, if you spend a little bit of time to do it. But in your hands, we have the actual Z30 30 times optical zoom from DJI. And I do like this camera quite a bit for search and rescue applications, as well as doing some inspection stuff. As we, you know, zooming anything is always very difficult. It's not easy to do when you zoom something way out. The gimbals have to act right.
And that's a 1080 with 30 times zoom.
Yeah. Plus a 6 times digital.
Plus 6 times.
Yeah.
So 30 times zooms plus 6, that's 180 times.
That's correct.
Holy smokes.
Yes. But you know, you can only imagine how far going into the optical portion and then going into a digital portion, that stabilizing that can be very difficult.
That's
so, you know, I mean, we're talking.
Obviously.
So this actually does have an algorithm inside that actually thinks on its own that when as far as it's going optical, it actually moves the gimbal even slower.
To compensate for that enormous.
Yep.
But that's really a nice setup with the XT camera.
Yep.
Because you can find a hotspot. A lot of hotspots you find are not the one you're looking for.
That's right.
And that's where the 30 time camera, you can go in and take a look at that hotspot.
Sure.
What are we looking at here?
Yep. And there isn't always the best time, you know, you don't always have to run the imagers here. People do ask, you know, quite often if I have one camera, can I just run one camera on here? You can. It has enough good stabilization that you can actually do that without any issue.
So. Awesomeness. Well, let's put it together and go fly something.
All right, let's go fly this guy.
Stop that.
Ready?
This is a beautiful aircraft. It's so solid in the air and so predictable. Like, it just doesn't two-step or do anything you didn't expect it to be doing.
No, pretty much DJI familiarity here. So, you know, it's versus the M200, the M210 and whatnot. This configuration, again, kind of being in that inspection / public service kind of thought and idea is kind of where they were going. The one thing is the twin cameras I did want to demonstrate something just a little bit quick, because this bigger camera here, we do have to be a little bit careful sometimes when we're out there flying around. So as you saw me flying, there might have been some forward tipping or moving or something like that, but you know, this is exceptionally heavier when you have, sorry about that, when you have the actual 2 big cameras up on the front end. This will be exceptionally heavier, you know. So just by even just picking this up on the front end, we can, you know, you can see
it's front heavy right now.
Absolutely. So the actual flight controller is going to compensate really hard on this bird to try to keep that stable in GPS.
So these motors are going to be working a lot harder than these motors.
Absolutely. So some of the things to consider when you're trying to set up this kind of configuration.
But John, so 2 things we have to bring up. We had a gentleman that came up while we were standing here flying.
Again, another person inquiring while we're out here playing.
and it was really funny to watch, because he's like, oh, this is like this, and oh, it's cool, and you guys have a neat hobby, and how much is into this? This looks good. And John is casually mentioning, well, what we're looking at right here is about a $35,000 aircraft. Guys, like, straight face, keep talking for a bit, and then all of a sudden he's like, did you say 1,000, not hundreds?
He did. It kind of threw him for a loop.
Yeah, the conversation kind of stopped for about a minute.
Yeah. So,
so the objective of our video today is, of course, quick definition, how does this fly?
You know, this flies like any other DJI product. It's fairly solid.
If you've flown a Mavic, you can fly this?
Pretty much. So that familiarity is exactly what it is, to have a little bit of familiarity with the DJI products and kind of just getting used to the way the imagery works. So it is a very, very simple machine to operate. Nothing very difficult at all.
So if anybody is looking to get into that, we already said it, you're with the 2 cameras, the zoom camera, the thermal imager, and the aircraft, we're looking at about $35K.
Well, you're looking $10,000 for the machine, $9,000 for a Z30, $225,000, $3,000, whatever it is for the X5S, but then it's also the XT that runs 12 or so thousand, depending on which version, and this is the 640 radiometric. So it adds up really quick on this one. So easily you can hit 35K with the amount of batteries.
So
and
this
pieces.
is a product for utility.
It really is. I mean, it's
search and rescue.
Yeah.
Somebody that needs to depend on this, and money is not that much of an object.
Yeah, it's really more about that saving a life or doing something and being able to spot something that's more important.
I shouldn't say this, I mean, because when we look at LA Fire Department and search and rescue crews, it's not that money is not an object. It is that this is waterproof, or it's water rated, moisture rated, so that we're gonna go to the hurricane in Houston. You can actually take this out, it can get splashed on, and you can depend on it working.
Yeah, and that is one thing about, you know, one of the more common, I don't know, downfalls. And people are like, well, the cameras aren't waterproof, because you bring up a really good point about the waterproof rating. So if we do go out there and fly any other ships that are not rated, the ship itself can fail, and that's what you don't want. Right. It's really okay if the gimbals get a little bit wet and the camera doesn't, you know, work the greatest, because those, as long as the ship doesn't fail,
just fall not have these things fall down.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Is so the ship continues to operate until the camera can't.
So basically, to wrap ourselves up, 10 out of 10 for 35,000. I would say it gets 9.5 points.
Yeah, I would think pretty close to 9.5 points on this one. Yep.
But for what you can get for 35K.
Yeah, that's
I mean, everything in perspective here.
Yeah,
it should be damn good.
Yes.
There you have it, guys. So make sure you click in the corner, subscribe for some more videos, and if you have any questions of this, call John at Rocky Mountain's Unmanned Systems. John, what's the phone number up there?
801-316-3250. So we aren't quite a click and check, you know, just check out and we're done. We actually do a lot of bids, POs. We work with a lot of industrial and larger corporate firms. So
stuff like this.
Yeah. So rmus.com to come and check it out. Just kind of take a look at the website, as well as if you have any questions, just let us know.